Welcome to selfdiscoverymedia.com, where we discover the communities that are making a difference in the lives of others. Our self-discovery is something we are all making on our life's journey. Here you will find the people that will be your guidance, that will be your inspiration, that will be there for you in support on your journey of life. Do enjoy. Our next show is... Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Ignite Your Heart and Soul right here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, and my guest is Joseph Ghabi.
Ghabi.
Ghabi. He is an artist. He's a numerologist. He is a psychosomatic numerologist, and he is also part of the Soul Connection. I mean, this guy's plugged in. He was a former engineer, a banker, international sales manager. So how did he go from that to what he's doing today? He's an expert blueprint numerologist, master healer, spiritual leader. He talks about topics ranging from relationships of the law of attraction, life purpose, past histories. He's well known for his program, Soul to Soul Connection, level 1 and level 2, where he uses his own gifts to help people free themselves and have peace within their past. And as a psychosomatic therapist, drawing upon his extensive knowledge of numerology, Joseph developed a psychosomatic numerology which focuses on the relationships between one's emotions, mind, and body in conjunction with chakras and their connection with diseases. He's also an artist. He's recently showed a form of over 300 paintings in 3 years. If you're watching the video, you see his art behind him. If not, you come to the posting, you see the art there. He aligns his gift of healing with painting and meditation. He has also got an online program called Awakening the Artist Within, a 9-week online program to awaken your gift with painting. And so much more. So I invite you to go and read that, but we're going to just dive right into it, into this wonderful conversation. For people who don't know what numerology is, let's start there and explain what is numerology.
Very good. Thank you for having me, Sarah, with you today, and to your people listening to your show. Numerology is basically a way of understanding ourselves. We all have a blueprint, and we have no idea about it, to be honest. And the blueprint basically is started from the moment you were born. And how I say it in my public speaking is when you just came into this world, you open your eyes and you look around you, and you start crying and telling yourself, not you again. And the reason for that is because you're familiar with the energy. Mm-hmm. Because when you were born, you're still connected to the other side more than this side. Yes. So you see everybody's energy, and you get familiarity that those people, I've already done stuff many times with them. That's enough. What am I doing here? So numerology is basically comes from your name and your date of birth. Mm-hmm. Now, your name brings you your destiny. And we have an idea about the destiny or purpose or life path, whatever we're going to call it. It's all the same. That we have to drive for something. We do, and we don't. Mm-hmm. That's where people are misunderstanding purpose or destiny. Your purpose here, you're coming here, despite of anything that happened in your life, you should end up being happy, joyful, and fulfilled. Mm-hmm. If you're not having that, it means you're still not living. Mm-hmm. full game. Yeah. Now, once you are happy, joyful, and fulfilled, and it doesn't matter what you do, that's very essential. It doesn't matter what you do, because you can be fixing pipelines and you're so happy, joyful, and fulfilled with that. Doesn't have to be millionaire to be happy, because money doesn't make you happy anyway. So if we're going to take it from that perspective, once you are having those three together, then you will start integrating what am I here to do and serve humanity. And that's where we're going to go into the other levels of our being, into understanding the bigger picture from a soul perspective, not from our human experiences.
Yes.
And that's what's it different. So your name now determine your experiences in life, what you meant to be doing in this lifetime, and from the experiences that you went through. From the experiences that you went through in life that you haven't yet grasped to understand the meaning. Because technically speaking, the way I do numerology, not to predict your future,
Yeah.
but to see where you're stuck in order to allow you to see the future.
Yes.
So that's a whole different, this is why I call it blueprint numerology, because we are following a specific blueprint. And that's very essential to grasp that into our mind, because everybody is going, what's my destiny? What's my destiny? Can you be happy, joyful, and fulfilled in your life?
Yeah.
I'm not asking you anything.
Yeah.
I'm asking you, can you be happy, joyful, and fulfilled in your life? And it doesn't matter what you're doing.
It's the sharing and the being of service and
You know what I
helping of
mean?
others that does it, right? Yeah. Now, if your name changes, like you become a Mrs. or you're no longer the Mrs. and you decide to take on another name, does that change your destiny?
If you don't consult somebody who does the numbers,
Hmm.
you can either gain or you can either lose.
Right.
Now, if I will ask the question for the woman in your audience is, if you get married more than once and you changed your name, in that change of your name, how many times you felt that in each marriage my life went differently?
Hmm. Yes.
It's because of the name.
Right. I chose a name, not legally, just I changed my persona, Sarah Troy. I did have a numerologist with me at the time, and it just felt right. It also was an homage to my mother, who had a dress store called Sarah Troy many, many years ago. And although my legal name is still there, this is the name that I identify with and go with now. And many good things have happened for me since I changed that name.
Yes, but it will also, you have to see what I will care about the name is what the name might bring me into, what numbers are missing in my name. That's where
Right.
the difference is.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
missing numbers. Now, because those missing numbers become the experiences that I will be working on.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So if I see I have financial problem, I'm always into money issues. I'm always into, I need to look if I have a 4 in my name or if I have an 8 in my name.
Mm. Well, my
And
life path is an 8.
that will make your experience lesser,
Mm.
which is makes it much easier than being a heavy karma.
Right. Right.
You know
I
what I
know
mean?
that I had a vow of poverty for 50 lifetimes before this one, which
Well,
I'm still trying to erase.
that's another story for another
Yes.
time.
And this lifetime is about making sure that that is changed. But, I don't know with Sarah Troy, I know that it felt right and it's been a good name for me, but I don't know. I don't know about the missing numbers. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, because this is why when you have two different marriages and each name has certain numbers and you lost these numbers
Hmm.
because you changed your name,
Right.
those numbers become an experience for you.
Right. It makes sense. It makes
I mean,
sense.
it's not like we're creating anything. So it's recommended to maybe keep your last name and add the person's name.
Mhm.
It could be much easier. At least you maintain your integrity with your own name.
Unless you've had a bad experience with that name, and then maybe it's time to dump it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and that's why we cannot keep holding to something forever. We need to start keep adjusting. And especially now we went into 5D.
Yeah.
What we used to know about anything is completely now into the garbage basket, and that's it. There's
Yeah.
nothing we can do about it.
No. Once
You
you
know,
know, you can't unknow.
that's it.
Yeah. You know,
Cannot go backward in life.
yes.
Your face is designed to look forward.
Yes.
You don't have your face backward.
Yeah.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And that's how we're supposed to keep moving forward.
Uh,
Nobody go walking backward.
No, I mean, we refer to the eyes on the back of the head. That is that
Yes.
intuition that what follows you. But it is, for me, it's when I've left a place or left something, is, are you going to go back? No.
No.
been there, done that, had that experience. It's about the next experience, the next exploration, because that's what we are, is a series of experience and events that contribute to our contribution to life.
That's it. I mean, look, the only way how we can determine if we are still stuck into certain experiences if we keep attracting it,
Yeah.
or if the feeling that those people during those experiences, we're still attracting people that keep triggering us.
And we do that unknowingly, don't we?
Oh,
We're kind of
because
stuck in a groove and we don't realize, I married somebody that I thought was different from my father. Ended up, I married my father.
yeah,
You know?
and how many times you hear that statement?
Yes,
It's like it
exactly.
feels like I'm marrying my father or my mother,
Yes.
and it's all the time.
And intellectually, you think they're so very different, but you don't realize you're still in that same groove pattern, and
And
you
this
have to remove that pattern.
actually between them it's only the feelings that your mom left in you. If I'm doing healing with somebody, I never ever ask them what happened in your life,
Right.
why I should know about that.
Yes.
I said, if they tell me they have a problem with their mom, great, let's see what your mom made you feel. That's all I
Mhm.
ask.
Yes. Yes.
How many people today you pass through in your life brought you the same feeling? Oh my God, oh, many of them. You know what I
Yes.
mean? That's where the problem is. It's a
Yeah.
feeling that mom and dad left us, because mom and dad today maybe is not with us even. It could be
Yeah.
we left town for years. So it's not the excuse about my mom anymore,
Right.
because I'm
Exactly.
only holding to these feelings and I'm having really small hard time to
Let go.
drop, let them
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
That's all it is. There's no rocket science to it. Look, I came from an engineering background, so
Mhm.
I worked with logic.
Yes.
So logic is logic. I don't use my emotion to with the logic. So I have to be making sense. You're still holding to that experience. So it's like you put yourself into a prison to
Hmm.
keep you under control. Now, we, you went into many healers, many different work you did on yourself, and you moved one finger at a time from that prison bars, and you keep moving, but you still have that you're holding too.
Yes.
So you're not letting everything out. You still have that finger. You have to drop that finger for you to fall from that prison, and the door is already open. Just
Right.
get out.
Yeah.
That's all.
Don't analyze the situation. Move.
you know and unfortunately, people that don't recognize that we do have soul agreements with people.
Yep.
You chose your parents for a reason,
Hmm.
because they are the best candidate for what you need to learn through them.
Hmm.
That's all. We're not degrading anybody. We're not,
Right.
and when I do forgiveness into my soul to soul one connection, uh, what I do into the forgiveness basically is not about forgiving my dad or mom.
Hmm.
With dad and mom, I just unplug the agreement. That's all. I
Right.
don't need to do anything else.
Yes.
But I do the forgiveness for myself,
Mm.
because when things happen when I was 5, 6 years old, and I'm now 40, who dragged it the most?
Yeah. They're
I
not
need
carrying it
forgiveness.
for
I
you.
need
You're carrying.
forgiveness for
Yeah.
myself,
Yeah. Yeah.
because the only one thing that's missing in people's life is simply and very easily, is self-love.
I think that's one of the hardest things for people to do. The hardest things for them to give themselves permission to be. But when they actually do step into that self-love, then they truly actually understand what that divine energy is. Because as corny or whatever you want to call it to sound, love is a frequency of connection, of openness, of knowledge, out of positive intent. You can't knowingly hurt someone else when you're in that state of love. You're just not in that vibration.
Yes. And at the same time, we all look for other people to provide us the love while we're not doing it for ourselves. That's a contradiction.
Well, it's you want someone to love you, but if you don't love yourself, how are you showing them how to love you?
Yes, but you're going to attract the one,
Yeah.
the lack in you. You're going to
Yes.
attract that.
Yes. Yes. And so if you are this abundant of love, you're going to attract that abundant of love. And then both of you, your cups can run over. But
Yeah.
it is not to find somebody to complete you. That job is your own.
Yes, this is your job completely. It's you're on your own for that.
Yeah, we're actually on our own for everything in many ways. It's like even with what you do, you can guide people, you can show people, you can give people that revelation, but what they do with it is still their choice.
Definitely is not the healer job to do that
Hmm.
in the first place. Our job is to give them the best easy road to get there.
Yeah,
But if they
yeah.
don't want to open that door to be free, that's their choice not to. Sometimes
I
they delay it for
yeah.
whatever reason, and that's okay.
I mean, I know in my past counseling, and what are you afraid of? I don't know, just fear. And there are some people that are literally crippled by fear, but they have no understanding what they're afraid of. They've been
Yes.
so conditioned to be in that fearful state, they don't know how to get out of it, but they can't articulate in any formal way of why they're afraid. And it's a horrible state of being to be in that, because there is not living in that situation.
I mean, look, we our belief system, our programming that's happened through our culture, through our religion, through our family environment that we grew up with, has a huge impact on us.
Yes.
We like it or not. And then you have the ancestry. You have your mom,
Yeah.
and it have a mom and dad, and your dad have a mom and dad. If you're unfortunate, you have stepmom, stepdad too. That's you have all now
Mhm.
multiplied. You have to close all of these
Yes.
rabbit holes.
Yeah, including past lives. Sometimes people are carrying
We
things
have,
forward with them and they go, I just don't know. I mean, I have this feeling, I feel I've done it, I'm carrying this resentment, but I don't know where it comes from.
yes,
So
and
it's either
uh,
the ancestry environment or a past lifetime
it's
environment.
all the same for me. We have to close them all.
Yes.
And even in the 5D consciousness right now into Soul to Soul One, I started from 2020 to close this 3D,
Mhm.
the
Yes.
3D Akashic records
Yes.
because
Yeah.
that is not applicable in 5D anymore.
No, I mean, I always used to say that the third dimension is the human living, and it's where hate and disconnect and emotional diseases. The fourth dimension was that invitation to step on that bridge, to cross on over to that fifth dimension. And I said, at some point, that bridge is going to break away. It's broken away
It gave us a chance for so
a
many
long time.
thousands of years.
Yes. And
You
it's
know,
like, if you're not on that bridge now, you're not over at the 5D now, I'm sorry, you were left behind. Um, numerology is used by so many people. Politicians use it, leaders use it, many people use it as a form of, you know, um, are the numbers in alignment with what I want to do? And so it is, as you said, it's not a reading, but it is a guidance system that this is not the right date, or that's not the right such and such, because there isn't a synergy there. And there is a lot of importance with that synergy, isn't there?
oh, big time. Eventually, I don't call it a reading; I call it a consultation
Yes.
because it's a way beyond reading.
Yeah.
It's not about the reading itself anymore. It is you have to see. Like I'll give you an example. When I do the business chart for someone, and business chart takes several hours
Hmm.
and most of, especially for solo entrepreneurs that they are the business
Yes.
now, and they go and start suffering, and they go this, and they try everything they can possibly do, and they're working 25 hours a day out of 24
Yes.
because they have to take an hour, borrow an hour for the next day. you
Yes.
know you
Yes.
know what I mean.
The accumulation of hours.
So, and if you look into their chart personally, because I have to do their chart first, and then I do the chart of the business, and the name of the business has exactly the same problems they have on a physical life. So if you
Mm.
don't understand it on your physical life, how are you going to understand it in the business?
Ooh, do I have the right name?
And that's where and
Yeah.
that's where the thing. If you see yourself struggling a lot,
Yeah.
we have to look into the name of the business.
Right.
And sometimes a business might have opened on the wrong timing.
Right. Exactly.
of the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If your cycle is 7 and you open a business on a 7 cycle, you're gonna suffer till you get there, because 7 cycle is basically is a time of reflection, and
Mm.
you're starting something new.
Right.
It doesn't
Not the
work.
time to reflect on it. It's the time
You
to
cannot
do it.
reflect on something you're trying to keep,
Yes. It's
fly
actionism
with
now.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So that will give you and determine sometimes because you started on the wrong foot,
Right.
and that's where it puts you upset, and you say it's like, I better go work in McDonald's and make more money then.
Yeah. For most entrepreneurs, yes. I mean, this is where when we have that terminology, the stars are aligned,
Yes,
right? And people kind of, I talk constantly about inner balance, the balance of our mind, heart, body, and soul, a psyche balance. Everything is about that balance, which doesn't mean, I'm a Libran, so it doesn't mean rigidity. It means that you can constantly flow nicely up and down in a nice rhythm without the extremes.
without extreme. You don't need the extreme
No.
eventually. You don't need the extreme, because I'll tell you one thing, like business entrepreneur, for example, because they are a human being at the end of the day.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So they're not out of the loop.
No.
Now what happened into the people entrepreneur, they start taking me courses of selling, of marketing, of all of these things, and try to learn everything. When I look to somebody's chart, he's a 3 vibration, she is a 5 vibration. Why you need marketing when you have the 5, and why you need 3 when you're selling when you have the 3? What is the problem? Why not you're not able to sell? You
Mm.
must have an emotional, do you
Mm.
have self-doubt in your life?
Right.
Oh yeah, that's one part of it. Are you accepting yourself to receive? You've always been taught
Mm.
to give, give, give. Are you willing to receive? No, that's not. I feel guilty receiving. So how this is how you're not able. You're blocking
Yeah.
slowly your way of selling.
Yes.
Why you calling it selling? It's not selling. Is you're inviting people to join you.
Yeah.
If there is a connection between both of you as a soul agreement, you're gonna
Right.
attract those people.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
don't work with people I don't have soul agreement with,
Mm.
because I don't want to waste my time and their time.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
know,
And
but when we start taking people from all walk of life, just show up because I need the money, I need the
right.
money, and that's where it is. Now, for entrepreneur, while we are on the subject, one of their biggest problem is, uh, for example, one of their biggest problem is to be being workaholic.
Yep.
Now, being workaholic, the business doesn't need 24/7.
Nope. Doesn't need somebody burnt out either.
Doesn't need somebody burn out, because they're
Mm.
not gonna think.
Hmm.
But my question, what is in your life that you're trying to avoid, and
Mm.
this is why you keep yourself so busy?
Right. Right.
And then you see them went backward because I don't want to go home. I feel lonely at my home.
Right.
I don't want to go this. I feel this. I have marriage problem. I have this problem. I have, you know, my kids doesn't speak with me or
Mm.
whatever. So they're avoiding all of these to address, and they keep themselves so busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you
Avoidance.
work lesser, you have more way to think.
Well, this is, I think, one of the big things to do with any entrepreneurs or anybody is, take a breath. A pause is good. Walking away from something and taking a day off. It will still be there tomorrow. It's like housework. It'll still be there tomorrow. Nobody's going to magically do it for you, but you need a day for yourself to download, to realign, to take a breath. And then when you come back at something, you see it so much more clearer. But it also sometimes is the way of the universe telling you this is just not the right time to make that move. This is a you time.
And eventually, if you look into my calendar, I wake up early usually, and from 6 to 10 o'clock is me time.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I take me time in the summertime in the afternoon too,
Mm-hmm.
or sometimes I leave early, finish.
Right.
You know, my I don't work all day long. I have 3 groups in the morning, or 5 groups in the morning. So every day from 10 to 12 or 1, I have a group, except one day, Tuesday and Thursday now. But I have now every day, and I have 3 days at night between 4 to 6, and that's all what my day.
Yeah.
So I have plenty of me time.
Yeah.
And those during the day is when I take my one-on-one, if to my own client even. I don't
Right.
take new people for one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
I give my first session for free. I don't have problem with doing that, because I cannot direct somebody to what they need if I don't have the conversation
Right.
with them.
Right. Exactly. You don't know if there's a synergy there or not.
You know what I mean? I need to have a conversation. So I don't mind and to give that. And I do it between those two classes, and I have one or two a day. So I don't, between every client, I go to the beach
Mm-hmm.
to recharge myself, to
Mm-hmm.
change my energy. And, so, and normally Monday and Friday, I don't work.
Right. Yeah.
If I give a client a time for those days, because I felt to do that, but it's not like because I have to.
See, a lot of people think that, oh no, you've got to work the 8, 9 hours a day or the 18 hours a day. The thing is, if you work smartly, you're going to work more productively. And the more rejuvenation you give yourself, that means when you're stepping into your work, the more clarity you have and the more you're going to get done, rather than flapping in the wind, kind of
Yeah.
trying to get something together, looking like you're being productive, but producing nothing.
Yes. And like Monday, what I have is awaken the artist within. It's a
Yes.
painting class.
Right.
It's having fun. We release some emotions. We clear up a few things in order to have people. I have people in that who are artists that been blocked or feeling
Mm-hmm.
stuck, and I have brand new, never touch a brush.
Yes.
So I have both sides, and that's I give it on Monday because it's my free day, and I'm painting anyway.
Right.
Now
Right.
on Friday is also a free day for me, because I have in the morning I put one class, soul to soul connection level 2. Level 2 is, I love this program because we're expanding so much with it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where it's a lot of conversation,
Yes.
deeper conversation,
Mm.
and
Six
it's all
dimensional
healing. It's all
conversation.
part of the healing,
Yeah.
but it's a deeper conversation. After they finish soul to soul level 1, now let's go beyond the
Mm.
experiences. Let's go beyond, what we have limiting belief mindset now that's been still stuck with us. But I don't do releases in that class,
Right.
so much releases. I do a lot of deeper conversation, and
Mm-hmm.
and if somebody felt the trigger or something, they go back to soul 1 and clear it. And the
Right.
reason I don't do much clearing into that, because in a way I want to help people to build their own transformation,
Yeah.
to be the one, not depending on me for every way.
Well, that's the point, is that, kind of a lot of Western medicine is making you dependent on someone for every decision. I remember being in Washington, D.C. at a party, and all of these people worked in government. And the people I was with, he was a teacher, and it was his family. And they said to me, well, who's your psychiatrist? And I said, I don't have one. I don't need one. I kind of choose to work through things myself. And it's, oh, you don't have one? I said, no, I just give myself up to the spirit, look in and journey. Oh, what a freak. I was asked to leave the party. These are people that were at government level, and they did not make a decision in their life unless the psychiatrist told them to do so. In other words, no self-responsibility. It was always somebody else.
Yeah.
And that codependency there was just so unhealthy. Yet these were leaders, in the
most,
government. So,
most of the time those people are two vibration missing, or having
yeah.
problem with two vibration.
Hmm.
And the two vibration is to always stay in the back seat. Somebody will
Yes.
guide you what to do,
Yeah.
giving you the
I
you
may
know
complain all the time about your driving, but you can drive me because I'm not going to get in the front seat and drive myself. Right? Yeah.
I mean, and those are the tools, and they become overly sensitive
Yes.
to anything. And that's how it happened, from the two. If we don't have two problems in the world, we have no divorce, by the way.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's as simple as that.
Yeah.
We don't have any physical or mental abuse
Mm-hmm.
if we have clean cut tools in the world,
Yeah.
because the two are the biggest headache on this planet. because people they have no idea how to set their boundaries, to set their limits, and they don't have a clue how to say no to people. They
My
always
sons are
yes,
too,
yes,
like
yes,
Papa too.
always
So,
yes, yes, yes to everything. And when the last time we said no to something because it's going against our self-love to
right.
ourselves, and we don't just do it for the sake of pleasing everybody, to keep peace with
I
everybody.
know. Oh God, I was there, bending into a pretzel, trying to be what everybody wanted me to be. And, now is if my core doesn't want to do it, I'm not doing it. My core says, no, this is not good for you. I wish you well. Thank you very much. But no, not for me.
Yeah.
Whereas in the past, I would have found it far hard to say no, feeling kind of guilty for not participating. I participate a great deal, but only when my core alignment is in truth with it.
Mhm. And everybody talk about authenticity,
Hmm.
authenticity in business, authenticity in relationship, authenticity in anything. But what my question, what is your authenticity in your own self-love?
Yeah, yeah,
You might have a zero.
right. Yes,
You know what I mean?
I
So it's
do.
everything for everything outside of us, but nothing towards us. And this is why people having hard time sometimes with money or anything, because they don't allow themselves to receive. Now I'll give you a
Yeah,
very simple example, and this is everybody will relate to it. Now, if I told you, if somebody tells me, for example, you have a good shirt, immediately I say thank you, and I shut up.
yeah,
Everybody expecting that you give them back another compliment.
right.
When somebody give you a compliment, receive it and enjoy it, and stop it there.
Yes, yes.
That's where receiving become very important. When somebody send us a compliment, we own it.
You're right. I actually have to say, social media has taught me that. I found it always very hard to take compliments. And then with social media, I'd post something and somebody would say something about it. And I just found, the simple thank you, or, I'm glad that it meant something to you. It was something that I had to learn. It's like you're getting a compliment, Sarah. You
Yeah,
don't have to
you don't
put
have to
anything
respond.
back, right? The simple thank you, or, it means a lot, but it took me a long time to kind of accept that thank you. A lot of it because I distrusted thank yous. I
Yes,
always thought they had an agenda.
yes,
But now it's like, I've developed an algorithm of like energied people.
yeah.
So I know that when somebody's saying something, they are truly saying it from a good intent, a true intent. And so, I've at that level now with people that I'm with on the social media, or even people that I interview now, that we're in that same beautiful bubble of vibration where we really do mean what we say, which is really refreshing.
Yeah, and that's how you start knowing how well I can go, how far I can
Yeah.
go with receiving.
Yes.
That's a simple example, very simple. We have it every day. Every day we have a compliment from somebody for something, whatever it is. Could be nice shoes. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter what it is. Just say thank you and smile and move on.
The thing is actually paying somebody a compliment or saying thank you, to someone, or making a statement. You are showing appreciation for them. All right. And that's huge. It's huge, just to say thank you for that compliment, or even when you play a compliment to someone genuinely, it is like you see me, you hear me, you connect with me.
Mhm.
And that's what we're looking for, isn't it?
Yes.
Soul connection, heart connection, spirit connection. We're looking to belong to a connection where we're forming that beautiful symphony of vibration, where we feel safe and where we feel we can be ourselves. It's a truth.
And even you can test it when you give a meal or give $20 to a homeless person.
Hmm.
You recognize them for what they are without judgment.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you have to see, if you give $20, $50 even. I've done that many times, and you have to see the energy. It's like you uplifted their soul. You
Yes.
uplifted their spirit completely.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
The smile on their face, it's like, wow, I don't have to sit all day long here. I can go and maybe sleep this day.
I mean, there was a wonderful video of a guy asking a guy, I want to buy you a meal. What do you want? And the guy said, oh, thank you very much, but I'm going to ask you for something else. And he goes, oh, what? And he goes, will you eat with me? He said, yes, my body needs the food, but my soul needs the company. And, you know, we forget about that. Or let's give them money for food or give them food. But what about time?
Yes.
The greater gift of giving time to each other.
I mean, sit down and talk with them. It's not like they're going to bite you.
Right.
I mean, you know what I mean? Yeah. But they're living a lonely life.
Yes. They're so totally disconnected.
And please, we have to take the judgment part of it.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember one time in Montreal, a long time ago, there was a homeless person. I always see him where I go get my bagels. And he's always there. We had a chat through the years. I lived 22 years in Montreal, so I started to get to know him. He passed away at one point, and I was reading in the paper that he was sitting, and in his bank there's $3 million.
Yes.
So he wasn't because he's homeless because he doesn't have the money, because he gave up on society, maybe whatever it is.
Yeah.
You get the point. I mean, sometimes we have to look into a bigger picture. You know, it's not like they're all drunk and sitting there.
Right. You know, the thing is what is enrichment? He placed no value on the money. He looked at the enrichment of life, being in that connection. You know, one of the people I interviewed, he said he would go by this particular homeless person every day and he would say hello and drop some money. And one day he said, can I sit and talk to you? I gave you a coffee. And it ended up him writing a book of their stories, because the homeless people don't let everybody in. They let him in and they would tell him his stories. And every day he does a blog on that. And he's written books on their stories. He's given them a voice. We've seen where they've come and what their struggles are. Why do they not want to merge back into society as we know it? And they say, well, I'm in a society. I'm in my group of people. I don't want to go back into that. And it's like, we're so quick to judge. You know, the Harry and Meghan big thing that's out there right now. Oh, they left the royal family. They had entitlement. They had everything. You know, how can they leave them? And it's like, what did it cost them? It cost them the heart and soul and peace of mind. Are you really going to take that away from someone for a status, for an illusionment? I think they have an incredible amount of courage to stand up and say, my heart and soul and spirit means more to me.
It is when you'll be able to take those hard decisions.
Yes.
You know, and stand for them. And
yes.
Don't be afraid to face them. And I mean, look, in life, we're not going to please everybody.
No, we're not.
And I'm not here to heal everybody.
Nope.
And because I don't want to work that much.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But it's also the ripple effect. The people you heal will, in their own way, become healers.
Yes. Yeah. And that's how it works.
Yes.
You know, so many of my students, before they started with the healing program, now they're getting certified with me to do my work.
Yeah.
Because I cannot do all the work myself.
No. And nor you meant to. You're meant to inspire others to want to do that work in their own light as well. That's
where we have to recognize. And even I don't teach somebody to become mini Joseph. I don't need that.
No.
I want them to take what I have, integrate it with what they do, and strive with it from that angle, because the people who have soul agreement with them, they're expecting it that way.
Yes.
Not my way. And that we have to come to terms with that.
You know, being an engineer, it's about how you're putting things together, right? It's like, what can you create? What can you make? How do the parts go together? And what does it serve? You've just kind of taken that kind of engineering mindset and put it together in the soul set.
Yes. The engineering mindset, it was interesting though.
Mm-hmm.
I studied electrical engineering and my minor was computer hardware design, and there was no PCs at that time.
Right.
Remember, I'm 58 now, I'm going to 59. So there was no PCs at that time. When I graduated from my master's, when they introduced the first big PC,
Mm-hmm.
we used to work with mainframe.
Right.
Now, what I learned from electrical engineering is very interesting. I learned about energy, vibration, and frequency and how to measure it.
Yes.
That's a huge to me at
Huge.
that time. And in the computer science, mastering in computer science, what I learned how to program and deprogram anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I use it in my healing.
Exactly.
So 3 months after I graduate, I decided to quit what I studied because I got what I need.
Precisely. It was already for you. It was the precursor. It was the pre-university to what you needed to do. I am completely kind of more the spiritual, from that side of things. I don't necessarily have that other side of me at all, but having have that side is where the balance is.
Yes.
I'm constantly talking about whether you're building a structure. You can't put another floor on unless the foundation is strong,
You
right?
have to have the foundation. That's the
Right.
whole thing.
So, like I refer to myself as a tree, a willow tree, and it's taken me all these lifetimes to make sure I'm rooted well. And those roots are connecting along with other trees and the earth. The trunk is very strong, many, many branches, but they've got to be flexible to blow anywhere in the wind, because I can't stand rigidity. Always about
You
flow.
cannot you cannot be rigid in
No, you
anything.
can't be. That's when you crack and break,
Yeah.
right?
This is
You've
the
got
easy.
to be flexible.
Yes, you have to be. And look, what the way I started, not engineering me eventually. I was born in a Catholic family, living in a Jewish neighborhood in a Muslim city.
You
Now
got
I
the
was
taste
so
of it
bored
all.
at that time. I was so bored at that time. I didn't talk about it to anybody because I thought they're all bored like me, probably.
Right?
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Same old
So
rhetoric.
I kept asking the universe, myself, talking to myself, sitting at the beach every day, and what on earth am I doing here?
Hmm.
Now, at age of 8, gazing into the sun for so long, and they tell you don't look into the sun, I was gazing into it, and suddenly a huge splash happened, and I became clairvoyant.
Hmm. It was your door opener.
So I started getting training into on my own because there's nobody to support me to do that training.
Yeah, I
So
know.
you know, so I was from age of 8 to age of 15 doing my own training, but I saw my whole life in front of me.
Hmm.
I've seen even the places I need to live in the States. I've seen them.
Yeah.
I've seen everything. Even this time, I've seen it.
Hmm.
It was completely splashed in front of me. I was seeing, doing, putting my hand on people, but I wasn't understanding at 8 what the heck I'm doing.
You're
So,
right.
you know what I mean? And
Yes.
I wasn't recognizing that was me even.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
was seeing stuff going on. Now, at age of 15, everything stopped.
Hmm.
This connection stopped. It's not because they want to leave me now, but it's because they introduced girls in school. That was terrible. No, it was good. So we have to move into now. They wanted to put me back into the physicality.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because I was from 8, and I had the trust enough to learn from the guidance that I was working with. They saved my life 3 times
Hmm.
from really danger
Yes.
situations within 1 to 2 minutes difference.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So for me to gain also more trust in them,
Yeah.
and it started to grow. And at age of when I quit the engineering and the master, I moved from New York City to Montreal, and with one event there, they brought me back to the whole what I was doing in the early childhood,
Mm.
and they
Switch
put
back
in,
up.
it's like I need to fill back my cycle, and
Uh,
and from that I started going into the numerology and the meditation. I was trained with some very great teachers in Montreal on mediumistic stuff.
mhm.
Uh, Now I'm learning it from a physical mediums.
Right.
So it was interesting, and from that point when I was trained on everything, but I found my niche. I want to do healing,
Yeah.
and that's where I stayed with that lane. Even numerology is geared
It's
up
part
more
of that.
towards healing.
Yes, yes. The thing is, I think everybody, I was born that way. Um, Played with dead people. I had these energies around me. I was a very sickly child, so on my own a lot. Um, and it was, multi-dimensional travel at that time without having any idea what I was doing, and even acknowledging I was doing it. My father died when I was 11. That kind of came into me. Well, what is this God that you refer to? You took my father. I went into that whole thing. But it didn't matter what I did or where I went. And I had a lot of problems in academia, and I had a lot of problems with society. I just didn't like the way it functioned. But I was, a knowingness person right from a child. And, adults would form a conversation with me, and then I would just tell them what they need to know. How do you know that? I don't know. Half the time, I didn't even know what it is I was telling them. But it's just that they needed to know that at that time, they needed to know it. And I've always been like that. But I lost myself for a few years. It was in my marriage, and my marriage was going through a rocky stage. And I kind of retreated kind of into that dark space with a little speck of light out there. And it took me a while to come out. And when I did, it was like blinded by the light, worried about the shadows. But the more and more I immersed myself into that light and that clarity, I realized that that retreat I'd been on was a reset. It was a reset for me to understand what I'm really here for, who I really am, and what I was really meant to do. Now I have no fear of the dark at all. I love the darkness because I am the light in the darkness. But sometimes I think we get shut off from things because it's a time to reflect, and then to really be directed to where you really need to go, which sometimes we don't always see if we're doing everything all at once.
It's so true, because if the light always win over the dark,
Yeah.
whatever we do.
Uh-huh.
But as long as you trust it and believe it.
Yes. It will
That's
find
why
its way through.
with some people it works, with some people it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Now today, in our society today, our biggest problem that and the problem for me is an opportunity to grow from it.
I agree with you.
You know what I mean? So when I refer to problem, I always in my mind is an opportunity to grow from.
Yes.
When we start become aware of the problem, then it becomes the opportunity to grow out of it, and
To learn from it, find a solution to
on
it, to move
and
on. Yeah.
move on.
Yeah.
So the humanity, what I feel and I believe it to the core, that humanity, they are aware they have a free will, but seriously, they have no free will. They lost it. And 5D
Yeah.
is here to bring it back.
I agree.
That's the freedom that we're going.
Right. Well, this show is called Ignite Your Heart and Soul. Right. It is time, I have a word every year that I bring out, and this year it's actionism. It is time for action. It's not time for reflection. You had that last year. This is the time for action. And if you don't know where you're going, one foot in front of the other, just go. Follow those instincts, follow that flow. It will lead you. Why do I do these shows? I personally have done around 2,000 of them. And that means you have an enormous directory of guiders to choose from that can help you in your particular vibration right now to grow, to find your path. You still got to do it, but they're there to guide you and help you on that right path. It isn't a time to kind of sit back and moan about what has been. It is a time about planting those seeds, watering and nurturing them, and making sure that we have a harvest down the road in whatever aspect of life. So it's actionism time.
It's not about to sit down and wait for things to show up, because there's no Holy Ghost gonna knock on your door, say, this is the answer you've been looking for. There's nobody's gonna come to rescue you. You have to take a small action towards something. Now, when we come
Manifesting
into
Amazon.
when we come into the 5D, some people already start to feel it. The 5D is gonna target in the beginning the light worker.
Yeah.
and the coaches and the practitioners and all of these people, because many of them have no grounding,
Right.
and they have still some issues they never address because they think they are healers, they can heal people. Then their healing for themselves is forgiven.
Mm.
It doesn't work that way,
Hmm.
unfortunately. So those people are getting triggered in the beginning of the 5D consciousness and starting from last year, the end of last year. And the reason for that, because the 5D wants to have those on a strong foundation before the tsunami hits.
Right.
The tsunami is going to hit in the month of May.
Hmm.
That's what I predicted numerologically.
Right.
It's going to hit big time. Now, when it might hit for you is on your date of birth
Mm.
individually. So
Individually.
if you are in October, born in October, then you have few months to play. Now you are okay.
I am. I am an October
So
Libra
so
child.
so
Yes.
so now you have few months.
I do.
You can clear up whatever you have to clear up before the hit comes into October,
Yes.
because you'll be ready for it.
Right.
You know what I mean? We don't
I
need to wait for it.
no, but you know what I've been saying for a long time that the universe is turning our volume up, turning our volume up, turning our volume up. We couldn't go from A to Z in volume because we would have shattered ourselves as human beings. It had to happen slowly, slowly, slowly. But now they realize that this is the time that that knob's got to get turned more, and those that will survive it and thrive it, and some of them will have to start all over again. But I've done 2 videos this month. They say, are you feeling the energy? I'm sleeping less. My mind and everything is so creative. um, the energy at the present moment for me, I've got other people say, are you feeling the energy? I'm feeling drained, or I'm feeling this, or I'm feeling that. And for me, it's like, oh, I'm just loving where this energy is right now. It's like nectar. So I think it's this question of where you're at in life as to what the energy is going to be for you.
Right. It's all depend on you individually. If
Yeah.
you're never dealt and never worked on yourself, you're gonna hear the bigger loud sound around you, to wake you up. And that sound basically is coming from, that you need to get up, you need to
Yeah.
wake up. And unfortunately, for the last 5 years, I've been saying, in my public speaking, that many people will make the choice to leave instead of addressing it.
Right.
And
Yes.
and for the people who are awake or gearing up to become awake, if somebody needs to go, let them be. It's a choice. They make their free will.
Hmm.
So you cannot go against them. You cannot be sorry for them. You cannot be anything. They make their free will. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, just
But
kind of bless them, white
and
light them.
bless them
Yeah.
and move on,
Yeah.
because technically their agreement is for them to leave, to open the door for the next generation to go, or for whatever reason they have to leave for, to awaken other people's mind. Look, he's 20 years old and he left. He's 40 years old. He left. To awaken people's minds. Why these people are leaving? What's happening?
Yes.
What's this wrong? How many suicide we have today?
Right. Well, there's a point on that. There's a show I'm going to be doing. I talked to the mum yesterday. Um, Her daughter committed suicide at 18. And, she left a note to her mother. I mean, there'd have been a battle anyway, and saying, don't worry, I'm coming back. I am her death. She had to have the physical death in order for her spiritual to take thing. And now she's actually there, helping those people who are at that crossroads of suicide when they feel they have no way out, of helping them, of speaking to them. And they have no idea what this voice is or anything. They just know, why do most people commit suicide? Because they feel helpless. Nobody's listening to them. Nobody cares. And so if you have this other voice there that is speaking to you, and she feels that she's doing more work from the beyond than she could do in this lifetime. So some have just chosen to use that path to be that energy. And as you said, for others, they just can't cope. They just can't cope with it here.
I do a lot of soul rescue work.
Mm.
For 30 years, I've been doing it. It's like for people who passed over from this side, And especially if, like, for example, I did a lot from Catholic background,
Mm-hmm.
and they never crossed to the light side for the reason because they've been programmed through the Catholic Church that you're gonna go to hell if you
I know.
have a sin. So they
Which
stayed here.
which was not the original doctrine, was it?
Yes. So that's a whole, so I had to lead them and to go taking them to the light. Said, you're not going to hell, don't worry about that.
Yes,
That's a false belief system.
right.
So, and
You're already been in hell, in
you've been
living
in
in
hell.
anguish and life, right?
you know
That's your hell.
we
Yeah,
we are in hell.
yeah.
Technically we are in hell.
Mm,
We think, to be honest, we think we are free, but actually we're living in an illusion of being free.
right.
Nobody is free.
No.
If you keep abiding, now they're telling you have to put I don't know how many masks on your face to protect yourself. Give me a break. Is that really going to help you to be protected? Okay, you put the mask, now you cannot see, and then a car hit you.
Yeah, everything is in moderation, right? And common
You know what I
sense,
mean?
and common sense. Yeah, they've actually got a new thing that was devised in Vancouver of a natural spray. It goes in there, right where the germs pick up, and it kills all the bacteria that's in there. And so it's all natural, and it's a simple preventative. As I said, whatever problem we have in life, whatever the issue is, there is always somebody that's willing to seek out what the solution is.
Yes.
Let us support the solutionists. Let's not dwell on the problem.
Yes. But because we have fear,
Oh,
we
yeah.
listen to our fear more than we listen to anything else.
Right.
Because I do believe one thing from my own experience in the death situations, and saved 3 times, nobody will die before their time. Nobody.
It's part of your soul contract, isn't it?
That's the whole contract.
Exactly. And even the difficulty you have in life, it's all part of the purpose. And people say, well, why would you kind of sign a soul contract of such suffering? Well, it is through that suffering that you're discovering strength, courage, abilities, and the reason why you're here.
Yes,
Right? So
nobody will die before their time at all. And the good news, and many people, they don't know about that, if you're happy, joyful, and fulfilled, if you would like to extend your stay here, you're welcome to extend it.
mm-hmm.
Your soul is not going to say no for that.
Yeah, it's I kind of thought I would go at this particular age, and now I feel I've extended it by 10 years. And the
You can extend
contract,
it as much as you want.
yeah, and the contract for me is like, as long as I am still able to do what I do, and I am still in health enough to be able to do it, I'm here for as long as you need me.
Yes, and you can extend it as much as you like to, and you can extend it with being healthy too.
Yes, yes,
It's the choice. Everything is a choice.
yeah.
We can extend it as much as you want. Now, I always said people leaves here because they have nothing to do.
Purpose is a huge thing, isn't it?
It is.
I mean,
And it's a subject.
that was my biggest depression, is when
Yeah,
I felt I didn't have a purpose.
yeah, and basically your purpose is just in the beginning is to be happy, joyful, and fulfilled. And
And
it
pass
doesn't
it
matter
on.
what you do. And
Pass
doesn't
it
matter,
on.
you know, because how many millionaires, billionaires are not happy?
I've
They are.
interviewed a number of them, and they've said, I was a slave to the illusionment, a slave to the illusion of the riches. I had a fast car, I had a big house, I had this, I had that. I never saw my kids, I got a divorce, and I was putting in 18, 20 hours a day. And for what? And now I gave it all up. I'm doing something else, and I am richer than I've ever been in life.
Yeah,
And it's
and
got nothing
happier.
to do with the bank account. Right.
Happier.
Yeah.
Now, my saying to anybody, to everybody who have a feeling of shame, a feeling of guilt, a feeling of grief, apathy, whatever it is, anger, fear, whatever it is. First of all, get out in nature more often.
Yes.
The second important thing, bring something into your lives that brings you joy.
Yeah.
And do it regularly.
Yes.
Regularly, not, once in a blue moon.
No.
It has to be regularly.
Has to have
My
its own
joy
rhythm.
for me is my paintings.
Right.
Now, before the paintings, I used to be a photographer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I always had something that I enjoy. I love walking at the beach. That's something I grew up at the on the beach, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm now moving
The
into
wind and the
next.
water, such incredible conduits.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but if you bring joy to yourself, and joy on the Dr. Hawkins scale is about maybe 560 or
Yes.
640, whatever
Yeah.
it was, but that higher vibration frequency can completely smash your guilt on 30.
Yeah. Yes.
Can completely smash it. Anytime you feel guilt, like in my awaken the artist within, I will go for a feeling, and then I would say, go purge that guilt into the painting. Just purge it completely, and you see the painting that's coming out. It's like, did I do that?
Yeah. I'm like that with my, either when I'm blogging or when I'm doing a show. I do my own show every week, Sarah's View of Life. Sometimes I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I press record, it comes out, what needs to come out. Sometimes I write it first before I do the audio, but, there might be a particular topic I want to address, but how I'm going to address it, I don't know until I let it go, let it be,
Even your
right?
show, if you don't have joy with it, you won't
Right.
succeed with it the
Well,
same
we've done
way.
over 2,000 of them.
Yeah, you
Exactly.
know, you know, it's not about anything. It's I need to have a joy to wake up to do the show.
Yeah, well, it's that meaningful purpose because we are meant to be contributors to each other, to society, to this planet. When we step into our meaningful purpose, we understand our instrument, how to play it, to bring it to society, the orchestra that's going to resonate out. We feel so much joy from the giving and the sharing that is in itself our receiving.
Remember, your voice is a healing voice.
Yeah.
Anybody can have a voice.
Yes. And your voice doesn't have to be the verbal voice. It can
Yes,
be the artistic voice, the music voice, the
anything,
healing voice.
anything.
It doesn't matter what it is. It's
Doesn't matter.
just your
You
expression.
know, look, I'm gonna give you a story about the way the art started with me. It's a very quick one. I never been into a museum all my life. I traveled 42 countries. I never attended any museum in any country even. I don't know what art is. I don't know any painters who did painting even. I've been in hotels that have ravishing painting that cost millions,
Hmm.
and I never even bothered to look at them. I never been into any museum except when I chaperoned my kids to the museum in Vancouver. That
Hmm.
was the only two times I've been there. I don't draw. I don't have a sense of anything called painting. Now, a client of mine, his girlfriend, also she was a client of mine. She said, "I'm doing a birthday party, and I'm doing paint night.
Hmm.
I'm bringing one of my artist friends." Now, for anybody from their own mind that will immediately say, "I'm not a painter," in their head, "I don't know how to paint," and this make the excuse, "Oh, I
Yeah.
can't come." So when she told me, the first response within a second, "Yeah, I'll be there."
Yeah. Yep.
Now, if you think you don't know that you can be good at anything, I challenge you with that,
You
because
won't
I can
know until
waken
you
it up.
try. You won't know until you try.
I mean, how can you tell if you like Thai food if you never tried Thai food?
Exactly. Exactly.
Really,
Right.
it
And the
doesn't
other thing
work.
is that that first taste may be something foreign to you. But the next taste may be something, I'm getting this. I'm getting to understand it. It's the
Yes.
same with music. It's the same with anything in life. Give it a try and give it the time. Now, there's some things you absolutely know. No, 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 this is not me. I'm not jumping out of a plane, right? So, that's not it. I'm a person that I have every job I've ever walked into, everything I've ever walked into, I didn't know I could do it until I tried. And some things I succeeded at and some things I didn't. It was okay.
But
I
at
gave it a
least,
go. I gave it
but
a go.
you're
Yes.
aware of it.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
don't judge it without even give it a good, healthy try.
We're so good at talking ourselves out of things. How
We'll,
about using that same energy to talk yourself into it?
yes, because technically speaking, at this time, from thousands of charts I've done in 30 years. First of all, I haven't seen a chart the same. That means you are unique and individual.
Exactly.
And at the same time, I realize most people concentrate on their weakness and nobody even bother to touch any of their strengths.
Right. Right. They don't know what they are for a start. Because society has dictated they should be A, B,
Yeah,
C, and D, and they don't even realize they
yeah,
have
but
the
they're
rest
not
of the
get.
alphabet in them.
When you came into this lifetime, there was no instruction manual with your parents to see who you are.
Right.
They need to discover it according to them first, and then to see how you can branch out later. And
Yeah.
they all projected that you are good at that, and
Hmm.
they projected you are good at not good at that, and you believe both sides,
Right.
and both sides can be true, and they can be completely rubbish.
Yeah. And I think, one of the big problems is, I know in my case is because I was a sickly child, out of 12 years of schooling, I only completed 6, and it was always like, she'll never amount to much. It's just hope she makes a good marriage. And also being a very spiritual person, it was, well, she's not really connected. She's not down to earth. And, however much I tried to comply to what was expected of me, my own spirit fought against it
Yeah,
and to set me free without even really me knowing it. And it's like you trying to live up to somebody else's dictation and expectation. That's one of the huge things, problems with the education system, is what we're doing is setting out dysfunctional people
yeah.
because they're going against the who they are in the beautiful flawsomeness. They're going against what they're here for. Let them explore that. Let them discover that, because that's the gift they've brought to this earth for all of us.
I mean, look, we emphasize on things that really, like, for example, I went into so many schooling. Thank God for me that I don't read books, and I never bought the books in school even,
Hmm.
because I'm not gonna read them. So what's the point to buy them? And now you give in our education system, you keep emphasizing on the kids to be good in math, good in anything. And I promise you, I have more math than the teachers I do. I have engineering,
Hmm.
and I need 20 credit. I will have a Bachelor of Science in mathematics even.
Hmm.
And thank God I didn't finish it. But all my stuff that I learned into even the university level and going into the job into before I quit into the job, anything we learned into those early science that we emphasize to brainwash us with them,
Hmm.
nothing you can use.
No, no,
Nothing.
because it's
So
not yours to use.
no, I mean, why you brainwash people with them from the early? Leave them be whatever they'd like to be. Give them the
Look,
choice to choose.
look at the children that have been born today, the indigo children. The incredible gifts they are, the articulation, the way they can see life, the practicality. They are they are as they are meant to be,
Yeah.
right? Don't try and steer their ship, all right? Just be the wind in their sails.
If we don't understand them well, we label them ADD.
Right. Yes. I mean, I had a conversation earlier about how husbands, if they didn't want to keep their wives, would say they're crazy and off into the institution. And my friend's friend, her husband did that, put her in an institution for a year and a half. Right. And it was like, where are her rights? Where are anything else? And so many people also have been institutionalized because they're actually highly spiritual people trying to channel. And instead, you're hearing voices. You must be crazy. This is this little rubber stamp. You've got to fit in this box. You've got to comply. You've got to do that. Who came up with that? Well, most of it, the power's behind, because if I keep you in a box and I keep you controlled, I can manipulate you. And
Yeah.
God forbid you should think for yourself or take any actions for yourself. There is a huge revolution against that right now.
Mhm.
Set me free. Let
Mhm.
me be me. I am enough. Let me have that self-discovery. And the energy is behind it. And it's actually wonderful to see people awaken.
Mhm. And even the one we call them expert,
Yes.
Do we know who those experts are? Who
And what are
paid
they
for,
an expert of?
and they're expert of, and who paid for their expertise? We need to follow the money of them.
Right.
Because they might have different agenda.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Question, folks. You know, the Don Ru's four principles, speak your word with integrity. Don't assume, ask, right? Don't take things personally. If somebody dumps on you, it's their issue. Don't take it on. And simply do your best, measured by what you deem is your best, not somebody else's expectation of it. 4 simple rules that can make our lives a lot easier.
But we like more complicated stuff, so.
Well, the youngest person I've interviewed was 10, and she'd written a book, 365 Days of Gratitude with a Positive Attitude. And she was so down to earth. And it's like, I really don't understand. If you're unhappy, why don't you do something to make yourself happy? Why do you stay in the unhappiness? And people, oh, it's just a simple child logic. And I said, no. It makes sense. Why are you overcomplicated? Oh, there's different layers. And I said, why do you have to make such a complicated cake? Go for a simpler recipe.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a cake.
Yes, exactly. We do. And I think a lot of that, if you look back in history, the farmer, the villagers, they worked with nature. They were guided by the seasons, by the times of day. The village was only as strong as they were all together, each doing their part. And then education came in. Now, there's nothing wrong with knowledge, but knowledge that does not serve, or knowledge that then denies the intuition, is a controlled knowledge, a limited knowledge. But when you use your intuitive knowledge, both the academia and the intuitive, now you have a clearer picture.
And we always have to look into the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Because if you look into one angle, you might not be in the right angle.
The thing is, you said you did your math degree there and you're into numerology. And when you really look at it and break it down, everything is mathematics, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, it's an algorithm, it's an energy, but everything is measured in a mathematical equation.
Yes, and it's all simple.
And numbers have an energy. It's like every color has an energy signature. Every number has an energy signature. And then when you put the combination of numbers together, then you actually understand a bigger picture of what it means. Yes, Why do we not pay attention to it?
Yeah. Do you notice my painting, how much colors there is in them?
Yes.
Why is that? These are healing paintings.
Yeah. They're not speaking just to one dimension. They're speaking to the multiple.
They're healing painting. Each one have over 15 colors inside.
Mm-hmm.
Now, colors is numbers. So if I take, for example, the color red, so red is 9, 5, and 4. That's 18, 9. So if you have weakness into the 1, 8, or 9, you might be either avoid the red altogether, or loving the red altogether, because it's a powerful vibration to you. So when I teach into we go to an exercise of touching a color, feel it. And I give every color what's a number. And if you follow your own chart, you start seeing, why in my closet there's only one color?
Yeah, I mean, quite honestly, the chakra colors, they're that alignment, right? And it's the same with the foods. If you're craving particular color foods, your chakras are craving that color. I love color. I know I'm wearing gray today, but blues are my color. There's something about those various colorations of blues, and especially if you then get into the lilacs and the mauves in it, or the greens into it, etc., and certain yellows into it, it is just something for me that is just a beautiful cosmic deep breath. So I'm known as the Blue Lady, and it is a driving color for me, and it always will be, has always been. Doesn't mean I don't love other colors, but that is a color that is my driving color.
We have the right to choose a color.
Yeah, it chose me. It chose me.
That's all. As long as you're happy with it, joyful and fulfilled with it.
I mean, this is, you have to be careful if you're in a depression and you want to go to black. Don't. No. This is the time to insert some healing colors around you to lift you up.
You need one picture like this sitting in front of you.
Yes.
To give you the energy.
Soak it
instead
in.
Instead of having one black and white painting in front of your picture.
Yeah.
Color it. Go take that picture and color it yourself even.
Yeah. I have a picture over here, which is always at my mind's eye. I've had it for 20 something years. And in it, it has so many different colors of the yellows and oranges and the reds. And I don't know how many greens are in there, and a touch of the grays and the lilacs and the blues. And they're flowers, and everything is a dance. So every time I look at it, it feeds me. It just liberates my rhythm and allows me to flow. And I wish people would look less to the pharmaceutical, and look more to the nature. Look at a beautiful garden filled with flowers, or do the painting, or do the writing, or do the music. Do something that can express the way you feel so you can heal it. It's all there, isn't it? It's just a question of us reaching out.
So you're telling me you never got a doctor prescription to go meditate and sit outside instead of
Actually,
having a pill?
no, funny enough, I did actually have one of those doctors. She would say to me, "Okay, Sarah, this is the problem. I'm not giving you a prescription. My ex-husband is Chinese. Is there any Chinese therapy in there? Or, go and do this or go and do that, or you're on overload." She was one that she didn't have the answers, but she would say, "This is the diagnosis, go and look," because she knew I wasn't into the alternative. And kudos to her. It's very rare to find one like that. But no, as a whole, not. It is... I mean, this is how ridiculous it was. I was in pain for months in my stomach, kept going to the doctor. They kept saying it was psychosomatic, giving me emotional antidepressant drugs. And it ended up that I had a dead baby in my fallopian tube that was literally rotting my insides, and nobody would listen to me. It was always an assumption of what they thought it was. If you feel there is something wrong, you have every right to seek out whoever is going to listen to you to find out what the problem is. Do not let them dismiss you.
Do not let your voice be unheard.
No, and you don't have to shout and rant and rave for your voice to be heard.
No.
You may find, for me, is I have a terrible scroll handwriting, but when I first got the computer, I found that's when my written voice, could be heard. Because being dyslexic and everything else, I could correct it easily. When you're writing it, half the time I couldn't even read my own writing, And so it became my form of art, my form of expression. And when I would read it back, just like you have done, it's like, did I write this? And really, it's a message back to me, right?
Yeah.
So it's in us, it's around us, and we've just got to be willing to tap into it. And I love the Chineseology, the astrology, the numerology. When I used to do my counseling, I would take that along with the true colors, and I'd find the symbiotic thread between them all, because that was the consistency of your personality. And the numerology, when I introduced it to a colleague, ended up, along with the true colors and everything else, kind of combined something sort in a different way. He's an electrical engineer himself, but a spiritualist. And he ended up creating an incredible program that now Microsoft has taken on as artificial intelligence, because of the way he read it, along with Pascal Fractal and a few other things there. And that's the thing, is the knowledge is there. It's all there. But we've got to find a way to open up to receive it.
I mean, look, when I was living in Montreal, and in front of me there was a cemetery. I used to walk and get my inspiration from the cemetery, because as Les Brown said it, and I was living it there when I was 30 years ago, and it was that people leaves here everything into the cemetery, because for all the books that were unwritten, all the symphonies were not heard, all the stuff, they're all sitting into that cemetery because people never used them. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I every time I walk with my kids there, I have an inspiration. I write a new program, a new thing.
Right. Yes.
I get all my inspiration from there.
Yes.
Because I'm already connected with the energy, so I was really absorbing that energy. And you have so many stuff there.
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, waiting. I mean, when I was a child, especially after my dad died, I would have this thing about going to cemeteries and visiting them. But for a while, it got too much where I would have people screaming at me,
Okay.
and it was like, ah, I can't deal with this. And then, but now it is those open channels that you just open it, would take a walk there and just say, okay, anybody want to share? Don't all shout at once. I did actually have a wonderful person I interviewed who has all these people that channel through her. And we were doing an interview and they all wanted to jump in at the same time. I had an umbrella on my deck at the front of the house. I'm at the back of the house. All of a sudden, this umbrella took flight out of its stand that it was screwed into, went over my house and the next house and landed in their garden. And her internet was completely shut down because it was just too much energy. You can't all come in at once.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
it's interesting because when I got the incidents in Montreal to push me to get back into the spiritual world, it was I've seen 40 spirits in front of me, and some of them
yeah,
I know, I'm aware
yeah.
of them, but I brought them all together. I got completely paralyzed.
Yes, yes, a little
So
overload. There is
it's
some
overload.
discernment along that energy you need to
You know,
have.
it
Yeah,
was so much overload. So
yeah,
I had to get small massage to get from my
yeah.
girlfriend at that time, in order to have it
Released.
uh, released.
Yeah.
And and this is how I started my journey, and
Hmm.
went into meditation, and I started learning about meditation, and that from that point was history.
Yeah.
And
Just allowing also the one energy at a time, because, they don't realize, of course, how strong their energy is. And when you open up that portal, they jump in. So it's for you to kind of have not borders, but just some boundaries there of like one channel at a time. Otherwise, there can be some crash and clash.
especially if you're coming and you're doing maybe a reading for someone, and then their whole family showed up.
Yes.
You know,
Yes. And they all at the same time want the
and
same
they all want to
message.
talk at the same
Yes.
time.
I know. I know. And it's like, I've been at funerals where, the person that's passed is saying, I have a message. And I don't open my channels to anyone. I allow my channels to be opened by whom that needs to talk through me, or just give me a message or whatever it is. It's my son, when the Oklahoma bombing happened, he was, I think, 5 at the time. And it took him a little while for him to tell me this, but he said, like, Mom, I saw the people in the building and half the building had gone and people were in there and they were behind bars and they didn't know how to get out. And I said, what did you do? And he said, well, I opened the bars and took them to the door of the light. But he was scared of it at that time, of course. Now he's actually more and more immersing himself into that, and it'll come even more with age. But already that was there, and that's something I used to always do myself. And it's not anything to be scared of. Please don't let the movies scare you. They are entertainment. They're there to give you a thrill. But when you have to have respect for that after energy. You have to have respect for it. But at the same time, when you open up to it, it's wondrous the things you learn and
Oh,
what
big
you
time,
feel. So,
big time.
don't deny yourself that feeling.
You are a spiritual being, only wearing the body you chose.
Right, right.
You know,
We
that's
have to
all good.
lighten up a lot, don't we?
Yeah, we need to grow up. Yeah,
Yes. Well, as I said, the universe gave me a saying that the universe is going to shake you up, to wake you up, for you to step up, change it up, and grow up. Right? Raise that vibration. We've been shaken up, we've been woken up. We've got people that are stepping up and definitely changing it up. And that growing up vibration is happening. And that's almost being forced upon us as well. Right? So we're there. We're there. The universe has spoken. We're there. So get
look,
with it.
for over 300,000 years, the universe is fed up of
Well,
us.
yeah, yeah. And like, Mama Earth says, any more of this crap for me, I'm going to evict
It's,
you.
it's, it's too
We've
much
had
now.
our warning. We've had our warning. It is time to grow up.
Yeah, and stop watching the news that is not
Yeah.
serving you. Stop
No.
watching anything. I didn't have a TV for 20 years
Mhm.
now. I didn't miss much, to be honest.
Right.
So, and I'm happier that way. uh, not to have the interference. The first thing when you move, oh, where's the TV? Well, we're not.
Yeah.
I don't need the TV,
Right.
and that helped me because my kids didn't grow up on TV.
Right.
So they didn't have to watch the McDonald's commercials and dad, we need this toy,
I need a Big Mac.
and I want this toy, this toy. They're going for the toy, not for the food, but they
Right.
don't know what the food is gonna be. They're eating.
Yeah. Regurgitated guard pod.
They're bringing them because of that toy.
Yes. Yes. It's like candies at the cashier, right? They
Yeah,
put them there right at the cashier.
yeah,
Yes.
and just in front of you,
Yes, exactly.
in case you forget something.
Well, your kid, at the game, Mom, I want. We can say no to things, but we can also say yes to things. So make sure when you're saying yes, it's something that serves you, because the more it serves you, the more you're able to serve others.
And this is why we need to learn how to practice our free will.
Right. Right. And
It's
having that basic knowledge of your numbers, your life thing, your destiny, those are kind of back to the kind of the foundation of your own building, aren't they?
Yes, I mean, look, if your parents didn't have your instruction manual, and you never bothered yourself to have read your instruction manual, and your life take you left and right, you don't know what's happening and why it's happening, why you keep attracting the same people, why you keep having the similar experiences, why you keep getting triggered. Well, maybe it's time to have a full stop.
Yes.
And it's okay to go 1, 2, even 3 steps backward in
Yes.
order to relaunch yourself.
Right. Right.
In the right direction.
Yeah. I mean, how many people are walking forward in life with this heavy lead coat on, and they don't even know that's weighing them down?
I presented into my backpack demonstration. It's like everybody have a backpack on their back for all the emotions, all the limiting belief, everything. They carry it. Even in your shower, it is with you. Even when you sleep, it's sitting next to you. Even anywhere you go, you have your backpack, and you keep attracting people that are referring to somebody in the backpack.
Yeah.
You keep attracting them. But how long are you going to keep living that way?
And the backpack you should be having are the skills and the tools and the knowledge of how to deal with things, how to embrace things, how to, utilize things, not the dead weight.
Yes, because remember, I said it earlier, we emphasize a lot on the weaknesses, not on our strengths.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where the problem is. And
we undersell ourselves all the time, don't we? We sell ourselves short.
In our backpack, we're putting all our strengths on the bottom of it, and the top, all the stuff we don't need.
Right. Exactly.
That we keep complaining why we keep happening. Why this happened in my life? Well, it's not happening in your life. You attracting it. That's all.
What you seed will grow. What you water will grow. Be careful what you plant. Right. You don't want to be the weed.
Look, my model into life is simple. We make it complicated.
We do. Again, it goes back to, I think, a lot to that, the over-educating of what should be. It's psychiatry is all about keeping you dependent on the psychiatrist, right? What we need is to give people the skills and the tools to release themselves. We can be their cheerleaders, we can be their encouragers, but they've got to learn to do it for themselves. It's not about dependency.
That's what I leave all my clients. Everything was done. They have it for life.
Right.
You don't need me.
That's the point. Make yourself obsolete, right?
I prefer to have a brand new people than instead of keep dwelling on the same old stuff.
If you're still dwelling on the same old stuff, you have to beg your question is, do you thrive in being a victim? And if you're,
you have anything against being happy, joyful, and fulfilled?
Yes. Well, I think there are some people who are afraid of that because they've never had it and they don't know what it is. Yeah, well, come on in. The waters are great.
This is why I have one meditation, which is my level 4 in the meditation, which is I take them to see their identical self that is living completely the opposite of what they're living in this lifetime.
Yeah. The dimensional
because
source.
remember the old scales.
Yes.
You know, you put some potatoes here, and then you have to put some weight in order to measure them up.
Right.
Now, imagine the same thing if you have that scale and you have, I'm not good enough, and you put it here, and then the scale tip sideways because this is heavy. How I'm going to measure that? So
Right.
you're going to have an identical self that is good enough.
Right.
Now, if you don't know how it looks like, how it's good enough, let's go bring the other side and topple your side
Yeah.
because he or she have the experience.
Right.
It's been living exactly your opposite side of you in
Your
order to keep
parallel
you
world.
balanced, because that's to keep you balanced.
Yes. Oh yeah, I've had the seesaw effect a lot with my what I call my cosmic self and my human self. The human self had the conflict. The cosmic self never had the doubt. And it was a question of finding that balance and the cosmic self going, it's okay, human, I've got you. Right?
Life is simple. We complicate it. That's all it is.
We do. We do. So how do people get hold of your art? How do people sign up for a consultation and also to be a part of your program?
Okay. I have 3 different websites because I'm almost 80% retired for numerology. If somebody needs a numerology, this is why I'm training people to do my
Right.
work.
Yeah.
But I'm almost retired. So if somebody needed some numerology sessions, I'll be happy from your show. I'll be happy to accommodate that. And let me know that you're coming from the show. I'll give them 50% off.
Wow, that's very generous. Thank you.
If they tell me, let me know about it.
Yes, you've got to have listened to this. I'm not
Otherwise,
even putting this in the posting. You've got to have listened to it.
you know what I mean? Because it is into soulvisions.org, and they just need to and this is, I have 4 different charts: blueprint numerology, psychosomatic numerology, relationships, and business numerology. So if they want, what they want is a basic for individual. If somebody have health issue, psychosomatic, it will include personal and the body chart. If somebody wants relationship, I have 2 style of relationship I do. If you're already with a partner, you'd like to see if it's work out, how to ignite the 2 partners together. I would love for that you and your partner to be on the call,
Yeah.
not one side.
Yeah.
Now, if you're single and you're running into the same type of people all over the place, I have a relationship comparison, which is I will ask you to bring me the few of your past relationships and the big ones, and I ask you to bring me your mom and dad date of birth too.
Ah, yeah.
See how it is coming all the same thing.
Yes.
And this way we can stop the thing. And the business, the same thing. They will have personal and the business together. So this is when it comes to numerology. For the every other work for healing or for the painting are located into soulvisionawakening.com. And if you look into the programs, now I stopped the event, but I will have event too. And in the program, you will see Soul to Soul 1 for the healing. The healing is basically to clean up the foundation.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah.
And I don't want somebody to work on that for life. You know, it's not about life work.
No.
It's short period and move on, and let's find out where you're supposed to be going from there. And you can find also awaken the artist within. You know, so that site you have. If you'd like to even purchase any of my painting, you can go to my creative self 33.com. Now, I don't have prices there yet because I'm still building the site. So if you feel like one calling you for whatever reason, because every painting I have, I built an intention behind it, has to be into someone's place.
Yes.
If it's calling you, that means it's yours.
Right.
I don't have a particular person I'm directing it. I use it from when I put when I started the painting, I put an intention, I put a purpose for it, and the right person, they're gonna come and pick it up.
Right. They either see it or they don't.
You
Yeah.
know, so you can contact me and we can arrange for whatever painting you're looking for.
Do they
So
contact you through the site or separately?
through my site, all they can have a link where they can contact me,
Right.
and I can leave you my contact is joseph@soulvisionawakening.com.
Right.
So they can find me there. Or if they want to see the display of painting, I have just started on Instagram. It is Joseph P. Ghabi. It's at Joseph P. Ghabi on Instagram.
Just
So
spell
I
P,
have the,
Ghabi, so for people listening, your name for people who are listening and not seeing this.
yes, Joseph P. Ghabi, it's my name, and Ghabi, Ghabi. And I don't want to take the H, so you don't pronounce it, but H is about money, power, and achieving recognition. So why I need to take it out? So, you know, technically.
Right.
So, and if you want Facebook, you can find me easy on Facebook. So I have, if I'll post everything there if I have a program, or join the mailing list of soulvisionawakening.com, and the worst case scenario, Google my name, you'll find me.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, you've taken the grounding of what you know, a combination of obviously what you did as an engineer, but what you've done as a soul experiencer, the numerology, all the experience that you have, and you've put it together in a fluid program and pattern that allows other people to have their own self-discovery.
And my idea of all my programs is not to keep you on a leash that you need to stick with me all your life. No, I'm setting you free. I'm giving you the ideas. I'm giving you the, and I want you to fly on your own.
Right.
And most people, many people that I have, they take all my programs because each one is taking them to a different level. So it depends where somebody wants to go. Right. I can take them to any level they want.
Right.
So.
And it is about that, higher dimensions. We talk about fifth right now, but we're already in that 6, 8, and and higher. So yeah.
So and all my program now turning into the 5D, even though the healing work I've been doing for 30 years is 5D, which is why it wasn't acceptable at that time.
Right. Yes. It had to be
that you can heal yourself within 6 months.
Yeah.
And nobody likes the idea, especially spiritual people. And the idea that you can heal yourself in 6 months. Yes, you can. So it's not. And remember, you cannot be healthy and be sick at the same time. You have to choose.
Yeah.
Being miserable is a choice.
Not a choice I want, that's for sure.
You know what I mean? So
life is just too abundant for that.
So everything is a choice. So we don't need to.
Even abstaining from a choice is a choice.
It's a choice. Yes. That's it. So what can we say? So it is what it is. But if you feel anything, feel free to contact me. You can have a session with me just to clarify where things. We're not doing a reading. We're not doing anything. You don't have to buy anything. But if you're having any stuckness into something, connect.
Right. See if there is that connection there. And of course, for people who are in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, you're there, so you can, literally see the art physically, etc. But otherwise, everything is just online and available.
Even I had people came from Victoria, and they had some art from Victoria.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's hard to find. I prefer somebody to see them also if they're, but it's still with technology now you can see everything clearly. It's not a big deal. But if you feel there is something you're complaining about, then start asking questions.
Yes.
If you don't ask, you will never get any answer.
You pointed out too that May is going to be a huge escalation in the energy, and a lot of the practitioners that are practicing all of this are going to have a huge kind of little cosmic 2x4, realizing that they haven't cleared out. And the thing is we can move forward and think we're in our clarity, we're in our hole, and then something triggers us, a past thing. And sometimes it's just simply a memory. Oh, I remember how that feels. I don't want to feel it anymore. And
Yeah.
sometimes it is something tapping you on the shoulder saying, you need to deal with this. It's not, it's unfinished business.
Because it's time to be free. That's all
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah. We've been
And
a
freedom
prisoner
is
for
not,
too long, right?
it's not freedom. I'm driving a Ferrari, or I
Right.
have this, I can
No.
travel. It's inner energy that is already dead energy,
Yes.
that doesn't belong to us, and many of it is coming even from past lives.
Yeah.
So we need to get clear up the freeing ourselves from within, not the outside
You know, if
life.
people want the analogy, if a computer has a virus on it, or if it has old programmings that you just don't use anymore, but they're still there, they're draining the energy from your computer and it is not functioning. You're busy screaming at your computer saying, what's wrong with you? When really all you have to do is go in and delete some of that programming.
And if somebody have disease already, your disease, unfortunately, is not the problem.
Right.
It's a symptom.
Yes. My disease came about from trauma. Right. Yes. Yep.
So if I'm working with somebody with whatever type of disease, I don't even discuss the disease,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not. I will ask how that disease makes you feel.
Right.
I start from the feelings again, and then I go backward now.
Yes. And life is about feeling. I keep saying this to people. You have to feel your knowledge. You have to feel the soul can't speak for a closed heart. The knowledge, the wisdom is in the feeling to understand what the knowledge is in your head. And I don't care if you're an analytical person, academic person or this and that, you've got to feel it. If you're a neurosurgeon, I want you to be trained. I want you to know that everything is, but I equally want you to know that you have those intuitive instincts to know whether you should apply that knowledge at that time or not. Right? So they both work hand in hand. It isn't one over the other.
It's simple, we complicate.
Yeah. Yeah. So stop making life so complicated, folks. Right? It's we are governed by math and numbers and everything. So this and numerology is utterly intriguing and very guiding. It just helps unravel ourselves. The more we know about ourselves, the more we can conduct ourselves in our own best interest and getting rid of what doesn't serve us, allowing ourselves to move forward in light and enthusiasm and allowing our voice in whatever way it wishes to express because it's needing to be heard.
What you don't know, you don't know.
Exactly. Exactly. But isn't there a wonderment about what we don't know? That's part of the excitement of exploration.
There's a lot of things we don't know about ourselves.
Hell of a lot. And, and it's not about who knows more than anybody else.
Nothing about that.
It's how you use that knowledge and whom it helps. Yeah.
We all signed agreements with people to give us our worst nightmare. We signed with agreement with people to pull us from the nightmare.
Yeah.
We signed with agreements, soul agreements with people to take us into the direction where we need to go. And you're not supposed to work alone.
Exactly.
You have all the help, any help you want, it's always available. Just seek it.
The people that you need are always, they will come into your life when you need them. And this is the reason I do these shows. There isn't a one size fits all, and people could be listening to your show and just say, oh, this is very fascinating, opens up my mind, I go to explore, and other people will go, you exactly what I need right now.
That's it.
Right. And that's what it's about. It's be willing to explore all these shows here because there's somebody here that can help you on your journey of life. And that's the whole reason why I do it. It is not an advocate of one over the other. It is about who is a fit for you.
There's one thing to remember. There is no right or wrong in the decisions and the choices you took in the past. And there is no judgment. And especially you need to watch your self-judgment.
It's crippling. It actually can choke you to death.
Because technically there is no judgment, there is no right or wrong. It is what it is. Move on.
Yes. And if you know that it was wrong in the sense that it did harm to someone else, then go and do good. Learn from it, right? We all make wrong decisions. We all make judgments. We all make something and we go, that's not serving anybody. And maybe I do need to say sorry to someone that I unknowingly hurt because I did it from a place of ignorance or pain. But it's, own it, own Own your flawsomeness. We are not meant to be perfect diamonds. We're better when we have a flaw with us, right? Because that's what really makes us up.
And life is simple. We make it complicated.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing here today. It's been
My
wonderful.
pleasure. Thank you for having me, Sarah.
Very, very enlightening, very soul enlightening. And the answers are always there. We've just got to be willing to not only look for them, but apply them. Apply them. Allow yourself to take that journey. So until next time, folks, I hope you've learned a lot here today. A great deal of wisdom to be shared here. So until next time, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. You will hear many, many shows here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. We have new shows for you out every week. Just find them on our podcast or What's New. If you feel that you have something to share that makes a difference in the lives of others, or you too feel that you could be a host, please contact me at info@selfdiscoverymedia.com and we will be glad to speak with you. Have a wonderful day.